In this video, I'm going to show you how to get full marks in your geography, GCSE, and A-level exam. Okay, for the purpose of this video as well, when I refer to a piece paragraph, this is a paragraph structure I'm talking about. I've got a specific video explaining how this structure functions, so you can go and watch this in your own time. Okay, so in each exam, you'll have 1 and 2 mark questions. Okay, example of a 1 and 2 mark question command words you'll have is calculate, outline, describe, identify. I've got a specific video again on all the different types of command words you get. So I'm not going to go on those in much detail in this one, okay? But in the case of 1 or 2 mark question, you rarely get any command words that ask something differently, okay? So if it's a 1 mark question, you usually have to make 1 point. If it's a 2 mark question, you have to make a point. You have to explain that point in detail and explain why and how, okay? That's where the second half of these marks are, okay? If you do a 3 and 4 mark question, 3 mark question is you make a point and you have to explain it twice. Okay, so give me 2 knock-on effects in essence. Okay, so you could say something like the advantage of deforestation occurs because it provides it can be sold for furniture. Why is this useful? Because it provides jobs for local people, and it provides wages for local people to sustain the family. So you have to explain it twice. Okay, 4 mark question, it's like a 2 mark question but times 2, so 2 points, 2 explanations. The kind of questions as a command words you'll get for 3 and 4 marks are suggest, explain, describe, justify, compare. Okay, rarely any different. But yeah, 3 marks, 1 point, 2 explanations. 4 marks, 2 points, 2 explanations. So you can then get 6 marks, and that's where it gets a little complicated. Okay, so these mats will be printed in my classroom as literacy mats, and we'll take them out every time we do a 6 mark question. But the questions you can get, sorry, are describe, discuss, assess, evaluate, explain, and examine. And there's 3 ways in which you can answer them. It depends on the type of command word. If the command word is evaluate, discuss, and assess, you need a 1-piece paragraph because you have to show more than one side of the argument. So you have to make a point, evidence, and analyze on one side, and criticize by giving me the other side and explaining why some people might think differently. Okay, if it's an explain or examine, you don't have to give both sides, so you have to make a point. You have to give a bit of evidence and explain it twice. So it's based 6 marks. It's basically like a 3 mark answer, but you do that twice. Does that make sense? Okay, so you don't do 3 points and 3 explanations. You can, but you'll be kind of stuck at about 4, 5 marks. If you want to get 6 marks, you make 2 points, bit of evidence, and you explain each point twice. So it's a 3 mark answer times 2. And then there's a weird case where you'd have to talk about a land formation or landform in rivers and coast, and you have to give 6 sequential statements, so saying how an oxbow lake or a waterfall is formed. You have to explain the process step by step, and you have to usually there's about 6 steps. Okay, so that's for the 6 mark. 8 mark at A level is basically like the 6 mark at GCSE, except that it's your 8 sequential statements for the coasts. If you do an 8 mark explain or examine, you do the same as 6 marks, but you add an extra paragraph underneath. So you make a point, give a bit of evidence, and explain that twice. Okay, so you're giving an in-depth 8 marker. And if it's a evaluate, discuss, and assess, you make a piece paragraph, but you can't, depending on what side of the argument you're looking at. So if you have to assess and you think you're more on the side for than against, you'd have a point for, evidence, analyze why, criticize, saying why some people might be against, and say, well, another reason people are for, and stay on that side of the argument. Does that make sense? That's basically a paragraph and a half of piece is what you do for 8 mark. For a 9 mark answer at A level, you'd have to give an opinion every time. It's a short introduction, linking back to the question, and then paragraph 1 is a piece, paragraph 2 is a piece paragraph. If it's evaluate, discuss, assess, you stop there. If it says to what extent do you agree, you have to give a conclusion. Okay, and the key bit is better off doing a 1 incredibly well detailed piece paragraph and 2 really wishy-washy paragraphs. Okay, so I much prefer you stop at 1 paragraph and have an excellent one than a very meh essay overall. Okay, because you can reach those top grades without necessarily finishing the whole question. Nearly, you approach them at least. Okay, the kind of command words you get are evaluate, assess, to what extent do you agree. That's for the 9 mark question. For the 12 mark question at A level, notice it's exactly the same structure, but it just means that in each point, for the P, in each evidence, for the E, in each analysis, for the A, counterpoint, explanation, you have to give way more than 1 point, way more than 1 bit of data, way more than 2 knock-on effects. You have to give me more than 1 counterpoint, more than 1. You have to do that same as a 9, but beef it up a lot more, okay? Because you're level above. You're basically doing A level now. And when it comes to biggie at 20 marker for A level, It's the same structure again, same type of command words. You just have to add a third paragraph. And same rule of thumb: if you run out of time, scrap paragraph 3. Make sure you've got 2 smashing banging paragraph rather than just like 3 very bang average paragraphs themselves. Okay, I hope that helps. Overall, that should, on the whole, help you get full marks in geography revisions exam. Sorry, but remember, revision is what matters. Without the revision and the hard graph behind it, you can have the perfect piece paragraph. It'll be empty with content. Okay, so revision is your best friend. That structure is a massive push along the right direction.